Welcome back to the channel, and it is time for the preview of match day number 3 in the Serie A. So starting off then on the Saturday is Cagliari versus Parma, and both teams have picked up 1 point from their opening 2, with Parma losing the first, drawing the second, and Cagliari the opposite. We know that Cagliari have got Fiorentina, which he drew, and a loss to Napoli. So for this first game, we are going to go for a Cagliari win for me in this game. Then we are into a big game, and it's Juventus versus Inter Milan. And Juventus have picked up 6 points so far, playing Parma and Genoa, where this season they're looking like a decent threat and could challenge for the title, versus Inter Milan, who lost to Udinese, we know, after beating Torino 5-0 in a shock game, you call it. And for me, I believe at the moment that Inter Milan are going through a rebuild phase, and Juventus at home. So I think that this one, it all is in Juventus' favour. So for that reason, I'm going to go for Juventus win. I think this game could go either way, but I just think Inter Milan, that lost to Udinese, they showed signs of what they showed in the Club World Cup, which is a rebuild phase maybe for them. So I am going to go for Juventus win. Then another interesting game, and it's Fiorentina versus Napoli. And Fiorentina not actually picked up a win yet after a 0-0 draw against Torino and a draw against Cagliari for them. But we all know that how they are a good team, Fiorentina, in this league, and a very tough team to beat. But Napoli, we know, are the champions, 6 points from 6. It was a late goal that won them the game versus Cagliari, we know, and then they managed to beat Sassuolo 2-0 in the opening game. But for me, I think that this game, it's going to be a tough game for Napoli, but I do think that Napoli do come away with the win to make it 3 wins out of 3. Then Roma versus Torino. Roma, we know, towards the end of last season in Serie A, they are one of the best teams, if not the best team, going on that unbeaten run. And they have carried that on, getting 6 points from 6, starting off the season with wins over Pisa and Bologna 1-0. So I think for Roma, this game versus Torino, we've picked up 1 point so far with a -5 goal difference. Torino, I think that this one's a pretty straightforward one. Roma are at home, and I think that Roma will get the win in this one. Atalanta then go and face Lecce for this one. Atalanta actually picked up only 2 points so far under the new management, we know, and a few changes so far, with draws over Parma and Pisa, which haven't been great. But once again, they do have a favourable game in playing Lecce, and they are at home. So for that reason, I'm going to go for an Atalanta win, despite them not having a great start to the season and not really being too convincing. But I think, once again, it's a favourable fixture for Atalanta and to pick up the first win of the season. Then we are going into Pisa versus Udinese, and Pisa so far this season have picked up 1 point, which was a draw against Atalanta, but only lost 1-0 to Roma. So it isn't really bad results for Pisa to the start of this season, but they go and play Udinese next up, and I think this is an interesting game because Udinese themselves have picked up 4 points with a decent start in that win over Inter Milan, and I think that Pisa will actually put up quite a fight in this game. But I just think that Udinese, that win versus Inter Milan, I think there'll be a lot of confidence after the international break, and that is why I'm going to go for an away win for Udinese. But it wouldn't surprise me if Pisa went and got something from this game. Sassuolo then versus Lazio. And we know Sassuolo haven't had a great start. 2 losses out of 2, the only team in the league to do that so far, with losses against Cremonese and Napoli. So I think the Napoli game was one that they were always expected to lose, but then losing to Cremonese, who have picked up 6 points themselves. But still, I think coming up against Lazio picked up 3 points, and I am going to go for a Lazio win here. I just not really been the greatest. Sassuolo, I think that Lazio, to be fair, haven't also been the greatest, but I do think they do pick up the 3 points here versus Sassuolo. Then we have AC Milan versus Bologna. And for AC Milan, they've picked up 3 points so far. They lost to Cremonese in the first game and then beat Lecce 2-0. So they've had two pretty favourable fixtures on paper, you would say. And Bologna have also picked up 3 points, losing to Roma in the first game, and then Como a win versus Como. So for this game, Milan versus Bologna, I think even though it is at the San Siro, I am actually going to go for a draw in this game. I think Bologna are a good team still. I think that Milan still have certain areas to work on under Allegri. So for that reason, I'm going to go for a draw between these two. Then on the Monday, we've got Hellas Verona versus Cremonese, who have had a great start to the season, picking up 6 points from 6 for them. And for Hellas Verona, they've only picked up 1 point so far from the opening two. And I suppose the question is, will this unbeaten start to the season continue for Cremonese? And I am going to say yes, it will, you know. I think it certainly wouldn't surprise me if Hellas Verona got something out of this game, but I just think Cremonese have had a great start, and why not? Will it continue on for this one after they've already beaten Milan and then Sassuolo? So for that reason, I'm going to go for a Cremonese win. Then last up, we have Como versus Genoa in this one. And for me, I think Genoa at home will probably get the win here. I think Genoa, obviously, I don't think they will be amongst that relegation time places, should I say. But I think that Como will have too much for them in this one. So I am going for a Como win. So thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.